We want to tell you about a very concerning incident, though, that happened overnight, late last night, targeting the RAF base, the British base on Cyprus, RAF Akrotiri. We've had confirmation now from sources that this was a drone attack, not just one drone, but two drones. One of those drones made it to RAF Akrotiri, impacted the base, caused minimum damage from what we're hearing and no injuries. However, understandably, authorities at RAF Akrotiri have now ordered the evacuation of all non-essential personnel as they hunker down for a period of knowing that potentially they're going to be targeted, and it's likely that those drones will not have come all the way from Iran. They probably came from Lebanon, where Hezbollah, that proxy group, that terrorist group aligned to Iran, has now, it seems, entered the war as well. A very worrying development in terms of Hezbollah involvement. Israel has been throughout the evening and into the morning bombing targets linked to Hezbollah in southern Lebanon.
Yeah, we've just had a statement from the Sovereign Base Areas Administration. They say the dispersal of non-essential personnel from the RAF base in Cyprus was a precautionary measure. They say they understand in the wider British bases community that people are concerned, and many residents have decided to leave the village at Akrotiri. Whilst we appreciate that people may be worried, we do not believe this is necessary. This is a temporary dispersal, and it only applies to the RAF base. They say other facilities on the island would operate as normal, but yet people living in the village have been advised to shelter in place. So
as you're looking there at live images of Jerusalem, what is very clear now is that Iran is not just targeting its old foe, Israel, in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem, up in the northern port of Haifa, all these locations that are so well used to being battered by Iranian missiles and drones. They have widened out this conflict to go after what they say are countries in the region that are harbouring and hosting the likes of US and coalition military facilities. And to that end, more breaking news that we can share with you. 3 armed drones have been shot down over Erbil in northern Iraqi Kurdistan, where US forces are stationed. That according to security sources there. And also very concerning news about the US Embassy in Kuwait, which has apparently been struck as well by either missile or drones launched from Iran this morning. Smoke seen billowing from the embassy staff urging people not to go to the US Embassy in Kuwait, but to shelter in place.
Yeah, we've also had a statement from the EU's Ursula von der Leyen in the past few minutes saying we stand collectively, firmly and unequivocally with our member states in the face of any threat. So that reaction from Ursula von der Leyen in the past few minutes. We've got Dawn Neeson here with us in the studio. Dawn, what's your reaction to what we've seen overnight in Cyprus and the RAF base Akrotiri being hit by a drone strike?
Good morning, Dawn.
Good morning.
A busy weekend.
Yeah, we have, haven't we? But it's what we do. We cover live breaking news. And even when the news is as worrying as this, it's developing, as you say, every single minute. You can't take your eyes off the news that's coming into the newsroom. The RAF base being attacked, as you just said, probably by Hezbollah in Lebanon, because they wouldn't have, any drones fired from Iran would have probably been shot down before they got there. Incredibly worrying. It's home to 2,000 service personnel and their families, obviously. It's an incredibly strategic base for the UK. So it is worrying. That is the UK being under attack. That is our base under attack, whether it's Hezbollah or the Iranians themselves. I mean, Hezbollah are, as we know, a proxy of Iran.
To that end, Dawn, I just want to share some more breaking news, and we're trying to get these images cut, and as soon as they are available, we'll bring them to you. But another British facility appears to have been struck this morning, this time in Bahrain. Remember over the weekend, because you were reporting on it, we had the headquarters of the US Fifth Fleet in Bahrain struck by missiles and drones. Again this morning, there have been more strikes on that facility with very heavy plumes of smoke over the facility in Bahrain. So as soon as we get these images, we will bring them to you. And the worrying thing about that, Dawn, is that the United Kingdom Defence Secretary John Healey said that on the strikes on Saturday landed just within metres of where 300 British personnel were stationed. Luckily, no one injured in those strikes, but some real concern.
But it was luck, Mark. It was luck that that didn't happen. It was luck that so far no Brits have been killed. We know, sadly, 3 US service members were killed in fighting overnight. Donald Trump spoke about it, saying that, you know, sad, he expected it to happen. It could happen again. The thing is, we are under attack now. The UK is under attack. Whether we like it or not, whether our Prime Minister likes it or not, we have been dragged into this. And obviously, we know the Prime Minister gave a speech last night, and I still have no idea what he thinks.
Yeah.
The language was very, we are involved in a defensive capability.
Very cautious.
It was like written by a lawyer. I know he is a lawyer, but he's also the Prime Minister. He's also the leader of our country. And I'm still, you know, we have Brits out there, we have British families in Cyprus worried.
Right. You're looking there at shots of Lebanon. They are now, sadly for the peaceful population, the majority population in Lebanon, they are now in the fight because of this terrorist proxy group further south who've decided to join the operations with Iran and to target obviously RAF Akrotiri and indeed targets in Israel as well. I was telling you just a short time ago about the headquarters of the US Fifth Fleet in Bahrain. We can share with you now those very concerning images that have just come through this morning that show smoke billowing from the site in Bahrain. Do we have the Bahrain images, guys, with the smoke? There you go there. So you look at that, look at those images. I mean, that is very concerning. That's actually over quite a wide area. That plume of smoke is now sort of affecting nearby roads. So it's coming under repeated attack from Iran. This is the third day in a row that the facility at Bahrain has been targeted and attacked successfully, it seems, by the Iranians. And the concerning thing about that, Dawn, is just like RAF Akrotiri, there are these military personnel there. I guess, you know, in terms of this being widened out by Iran, it clearly sees this as, one, a bit of an act of revenge for those countries that are playing host to US military facilities. But also they want to press these countries to go to Donald Trump and say, end the war now.
So far, 11 countries have been targeted by Iran or by their proxies. You know, all the Gulf states, and obviously, you know, we know Dubai, where there's, as you said, many Brits, expats live there and are on holiday. This could either go one way or the other, couldn't it, Mark? I mean, by attacking these countries, it could either force them to go to Donald Trump and Israel and go, please stop this now, or it could force them to fight back against Iran themselves as well.
Well, it certainly stiffened the resolve of the Saudis, who are talking about potentially carrying out offensive action against Iran. But, you know, some of the other states, Qatar, for instance, where, you know, there have been warmer relations with Iran. Who knows? I'm sure there is pressing behind the scenes of the US administration to, you know, try and expedite this campaign and get it over and done with as soon as possible.
And just to give you a sense of this widening, the IDF released a statement in the past half an hour or so saying we have launched an offensive campaign against Hezbollah. This is following the attack from Lebanon into northern Israel yesterday. We are not only operating defensively, we're now going on the offensive as well. We must prepare for many prolonged days of combat ahead. That's from the IDF in the last half an hour.